and welcome to Add More Zest. My name's Rebecca. I'm coming to you today from my very tiny little craft room. So it is only a little bit wider than a doorway, which is why you guys are sort of outside looking in. But I thought I'd do a little bit of a spend the day with me today. My initial plan and my normal plan every day is to spend the daytime doing shop stuff, and then potentially in the evening I either continue to do shop stuff or I'll then do something non-business related. But every now and then things get a little bit crazy, and therefore I nab a little bit of time back, should we say, that I've spent on said evenings. And today's one of those days. I am going to be doing some shop stuff, but I need to get things a bit straighter. It's a little bit chaotic. I've actually got all three girls at home today. They're currently upstairs though. Megan flies to Australia tomorrow, so I'm filming this on Tuesday the 5th. As sort of a spend a day with me. But yeah, tomorrow Megan flies to Australia, so she is currently packing. Caris is working from home today, and Catherine isn't at work today. And Luna is trying to get something in the corner of the craft room. I'm not quite sure what it is. You can't quite see the floor, though it's probably a good idea because the rug is a mess. But yeah, my craft room has taken a little bit of a hit the past couple of, mainly the past few days, but a little bit over the past week or so for a couple of reasons. One, we did a revamp or a rearrange in our bedroom that involved bringing in another wardrobe because I was sick of not being able to store my clothes. So that resulted, stop barking at the TV, thank you. That resulted in a couple of pieces of Lego being brought in here, so not a big deal. However, I did go to the Festival of Quilts this last weekend. May have treated myself to a few goodies, and therefore I've actually done a little bit of quilting recently, and I've had a little bit of revamp of where my quilting supplies go. Partly due to redoing our bedroom too. Catherine just came down, but it's so weird filming with somebody sat on the couch. So she's taken Luna upstairs. Where was I? Anyway, yes, because of the rearranging in the room, in the bedroom, it did result in a couple of pieces of Lego coming into my craft room, which is not a big deal. It did mean that we had to find somewhere else for our board games to live, that were currently in the bookcase that we took out of our bedroom. I did look at cupboards to put a cupboard back under the stairs to hold the games, which is where they've lived for years, but I couldn't find one that really worked for the space because of the angle. The only one that really worked the best was the one that was there originally, which was what I was using for my fabric storage. So we moved that cupboard back under the stairs, and I got just a billy bookcase for my fabric to go in, which is actually working out really, really well for my fabric. However, it doesn't store my storage boxes. So I had 3 of these for my projects or my works in progress. It didn't store these, so I brought these into my craft room with the idea of them possibly being stored under the desk, or I did wonder if they'd fit in the Kallax, but they didn't. So I thought, okay, I'll just stack them somewhere in my craft room because then I can just bring it out and work on it. However, so I did that. I then went to, after I'd been to the Festival of Quilts, I went to Hobbycraft to get a few more, because even though I've always worked quilt-wise doing one project at a time, I've also had a project that I've needed to do each time. So somebody who's asked for a quilt. I don't have any particular requests in at the moment. There is another one for Catherine, but she's had one, so it's not as urgent. And I have quite a few different pieces of fabric or patterns that I've picked up that I have a quilt in mind for. So I wanted to get some more project boxes, even if not just to keep them together, and then I could decide when I was doing what. So anyway, I went to Hobbycraft to pick up a few more of these boxes. They don't have exactly the same style. They only have their own brand of these. But while I was there, I did spot the really useful tower. Let me see if I can bring you in a little bit more so you can see. You're currently on a tripod. But I did spot the really useful tower boxes with drawers that are the same sort of size. And at first I was thinking I'd get more of these boxes and then potentially have to put some sort of another shelf there, maybe a small Billy bookshelf where they'd stick out. But it was actually more cost effective for me to get one of these. Now, I personally don't like the fact that it's rainbow. I'm not against rainbow colours. Love it when I'm doing quilts. Love rainbow colours when I'm doing quilts. Also, let me just move you back. Also, love rainbow colours when I'm doing diamond paintings. So I really enjoy rainbow colours. Oh, hang on, you scooted down. Yeah, I really enjoy working with rainbow colours, but I don't particularly, I like the space around it to be clear and more clean. It just works better for my visual. But it was the only one they had. I couldn't find anywhere that stocked the clear one. I didn't go on a huge hunt because I wanted to get things sorted, but I couldn't find anywhere that did a clear one. So I've gone with rainbow. I may end up covering it up in the future, I don't know. But in between moving that in, working on one of my new quilt kits, in here's, it's just got a little bit chaotic, and I feel like it needs a bit of a tidy up and a bit of a home. So this is my crafting desk, my drafting table that I use when I'm diamond painting. So I have my easel on there with my diamond painting. I did used to tilt the drafting table up, and occasionally I still do, depending on the diamond painting. But if the diamond painting itself will fit on my easel, then I use the easel on the table, because then it allows me to have space to put my tray and my diamonds and all the rest of it. Plus, I now also use this as my cutting table when I'm quilting, because it means I don't have to clear off a huge space on the dining table just to cut big pieces of fabric. And the drafting table desk is actually just the right size for my cutting mat. So my cutting mat quite often lives on here. Occasionally it will get propped up, but more often than not it lives on here, and my diamond painting just goes on the top. So yeah, I have been cutting fabric for a quilt pattern I picked up, a quilt kit actually that I picked up at Festival of Quilts. So that's a bit chaotic. I've still got my Heaven and Earth design out from the last Whip and Waffle. I haven't managed to do any more, but it's still out. I've of course got this. I've just got bits everywhere. So I thought, let's do a little bit of a tidy up with me, and we'll try and get this craft room a bit straighter, and then maybe I'll show you what I got from the Festival of Quilts. I'll at least show you what's in here, and then maybe, depending on time, we might have to do a bit of a tidy up of the dining table, because Megan was also making something yesterday, and in fact she's left bits in here as well as everywhere else. Yeah, and then I was working on there last night, so yeah, there's a lot of tidying up that needs to be done. So I thought you can join me for a bit of it, a little bit different, a little bit of something, and then I've put the printers on in the shop, but hopefully by the time we've done a tidy up in here and I feel like I can move, the printers will have stopped and I can talk you through what I'm doing in there before I pop you on fast forward. So I've got fabric laid out here as well for cutting, and I'm like, do I just cut it now? I think I might do. I feel like I want to give everywhere a good wipe down as well. So I'll bob you on a bit of fast forward while I try and get this space back to some form of normal. There's stuff tucked everywhere. There's stuff tucked here on the bookcase and everything. So yeah, let's see what we can get cleaned up. I'm going to get this piece of fabric cut. I'm not going to cut my other ones, I don't think. I'll do that later on this evening, but I'll cut these so that they don't move if I fold them up and put them away. So yeah, let's get some stuff done. Take my glasses off so I can actually see. Would be a good idea. Right, the craft room is now tidy. Goodness knows about the rest. But just to show you sort of what I've done, I'll walk around with the tripod. But I did leave my cutting mat on my desk because I do know I will be cutting more fabric soon. I still have, so this is the wall, the external wall. But I do still have here my sort of makeshift board for quilting. Let me see if I can come further back. So yeah, ignore the mess over there. We've got the aircon unit out and the dog's got her blankets everywhere. But yeah, I have a makeshift board, which is just a piece of foam board covered in batting that I use when I'm piecing quilt blocks, hence all the fluff on that side. You get to see the shadow of the camera. I do want to get the hoover sort of underneath, but at the moment I'm going for what works. So on the actual desk itself, as I say, I've kept the mat out, but I decided to bring in, I was going to go and put away the rulers in my ruler stand that I got for Christmas for my quilting rulers. Now I do have one up here on the wall, which is a really, really long one, which is great if you're cutting extra wide fabric, and I use the length of the cutting mat. But these are my most used. And I was going to grab the rulers and go and take them back. And I'm like, why am I doing that? Because I mainly cut the big things in here. If I'm cutting like little bits, like I've got a load of squares that need squaring up, then I can grab a ruler and take it in there. So I've decided to keep my ruler organizer on here. It doesn't stop my easel. Doesn't stop my easel even moving back that far which gives me plenty of room for my tray and my diamonds, which are on here. So it gives me plenty of room for that, which is the ideal. I've only really been using one drawer in this drafting table anyway for diamond painting, which just has putty, glue dots, tools for putting ABs on, towel clips, yeah, that sort of stuff in it. I do have the e-pen boxes that I've popped in the back. So I've decided to use this one for quilting. So at the minute it's just got my rotary cutter and my little notebook that I use for each quilt. Oh, and a couple of clips that came off some fabric. But I may move, you know, my more cutting supplies into here, and it can have both, because it does have two uses. And I always just use the one on the left. I'm not giving up a diamond painting space for it. It just held empty boxes from things which all fit in that drawer if I actually sort my life out, which I've just done a little bit. So yeah, then we have the unit. It currently has one quilt kit on the top, but the idea is that will go, and then it'll just be my diamonds will sit on there. For my mini IKEA cart, I actually managed to shuffle things up and get it down there. Now, that mini cart, since I took my paint gem kits off it, all it has literally, let me see if I can get you a bit more of a stationary view. But yeah, all that has had on it, since I took my paint gem off, I've only ever used it to hold my diamond painting case when I've had, you know, the easel up, the drafting table up. So it would basically hold my diamonds, and I could move it depending on where I was working on the drafting table. Because I now primarily use the easel on the drafting table, I don't use this anywhere near as much. The bottom tray has literally got Megan's diamond painting stuff on it. It's not even mine. So I don't want to get rid of it, partly because I love the colour and they always come in useful. I may end up taking it into the shop. I may just leave it here and see what it becomes, because then I still have it when I've got the drafting table up and need it. So yeah, I'm not sure on that front yet, but for now it's still in here. Then we have a nice clear filming desk, which is good because I will need to film Friday's Whip and Waffle at some point this week. I've tidied up around here, so I have popped my little Lego ukulele here, and then I have my tablet, which does slot in down here. It's often left on there, so I'm fine with that. I've basically just put things away. A lot of this has just been me putting things away. I do have a tub here. I've been doing our mini diamond paintings so that I've got a sample of each. I actually need to bring in the new ones and make those a priority. And then I've got some diamonds from another one that I needed to make a sample of that's top secret. I need to put those diamonds away. So this is my sort of to-do pile. And then these are my unboxings. So I have another chart to art to unbox and another aura lower to unbox. This is normally my to-do shelf in relation to unboxings and things. It's just got very big diamond paintings on there at the moment, so it's taking up all the space. So that is all now tidy. I also did have a little revamp up here. Got my camera up, and then I've got all my little gift goodies and my sealer and things. So I'm feeling a lot more tidy and organised, which is good. Always makes me feel better. I say it's had a quick hoover. I didn't hoover under here under this unit, because I will say I did hoover under this unit the other day before I put it down. The rug does need a clean though. But just to show you this while we're here, let me see if I can move my, trying not to have you have to, I'll pull some up. But basically this unit has 8 different drawers, and I currently have 8 projects in them. So first one, you will have seen these before, but these are my quilt blocks. So whenever I finish a quilt, I like to make a block using the scrap fabric that's left from each quilt. And eventually I'm going to make a quilt of quilts. So that's the one from my mum. I actually did finish these. The one I did for my mum, and that's the one I did for my sister. But yeah, I've got all quilt blocks in there, and then I've got the instructions for the dye and piecing it together. So that one is a permanent, which is why I put it at the bottom, because I make one block, I store it in there, and then I don't touch it again until I make my quilt of quilts. Then we have the kit. You will have seen this with my quilt stuff. This is the Starry Night quilts that I was doing, or was doing as part of like a 3-day sew event. I am very nearly finished it. However, I do seem to be struggling. I'm trying to find the front so I can show you what it looks like. There we go. So that's the quilt pattern. It's a free pattern. I've got all my half blocks. I basically just need to put the other half that is a plain fabric on each one. But for some reason, the measurements are giving me a bit more of an allowance. So they're all made up of those blocks. It's given me a bit of a headache. Now, I haven't looked at it again for a couple of months. It may be that if I looked at it again, it would be fine. But what I think I'm going to do is, the lady whose event it was, who I did the kit with, who was there for questions and whatever else, does Saturday mornings, I think, or maybe afternoons. She does like a few hours where you can basically go and meet up and sew with other people. So I think I'm going to try and find a weekend at some point where I can do one of those, and I'll basically take that with me and go, help me get this finished. She'll give me a hand getting the first one right, and then I can come home and finish the rest. And once I've done that, put the triangles onto my big blocks, I'm just piecing my blocks together pretty much, and I'm done. There's a little bit of applique, but I'm okay with that. So yeah, that project is very nearly finished, but needs finishing. This is what I got from the Festival of Quilts. So I did get this as a kit. It's Janet Clare. I love Janet Clare. It's called Polestar. And it's actually done using foundation paper piecing for a lot of it. So I've actually been messing with this. I messed with it on Sunday. So I went to Festival of Quilts on Saturday. Messed with it on Sunday. And then last night, Monday, I couldn't help myself. And I finished these blocks for the first block. So there's a few different styles of these that you do. In fact, you do 100 of them. But yeah, it's foundation paper pieced. So my next thing is to do my squares around it to form my block. But yeah, I saw it at the quilt show. It is absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, this is my current project. Look, I actually have another book in here with little notes for myself. I cut some of the pieces bigger just to give me that margin of error, and then trim them down for my paper piecing. So I wrote down my notes, so just in case this goes on hold. So that's probably the quickest I've got and then started a kit the next day. But yeah, I'm rather excited about this one. Then I have, this was also Festival of Quilts. So anybody who's a quilter, I got the Alice's Wonderland sampler quilts, which is 100 quilt blocks to improve your sewing skills. So it actually goes through in stages. Some of them are pieced on quilts, some of them are English paper piecing, some of it's applique. There's quite a few different styles, and the idea is that you grow and grow. The fabrics themselves, why they look absolutely gorgeous in the quilt, the Tilda and that fabrics, they're not the ones I'm drawn to. So I am doing it slightly different. But I did get it signed. While I was there. But yes, it makes this gorgeous quilt. So this one I won't quite be starting yet. She actually used 100 different fabrics for this, primarily scraps and things. But I'm going to start my base colouring on this fat quarter bundle. So I have taken them out of the original packaging and put them how I like them. But look at this. How gorgeous is this? I must have walked past or seen this fat quarter type bundle, which a few different places had, 4 times before I caved. And then I found this book later on and I was like, okay, yes, I'm using this. So I'm going to use this as sort of my palette. I've actually pulled a couple of fabrics that I picked from some fat quarter bundles that I was able to pull out that have the same sort of colouring in them. So they've got sort of this range of colouring up the top. And my plan with this one is to keep an eye on any scraps from any quilts that I've finished. And if they fit the sort of little bit more muted but colourful, if they hit that, then I'll add them in. So it may well be, for example, this fabric that I'm possibly going to have some left, that may not fit, but some of the others may do. And I'm just going to hold them up against my fat quarter bundle and think, do they go, do they not? And basically add in anything that goes for a bit before I start doing this one. So it's a collecting project at the moment. So that's that project. Then I have another Janet Clare. I actually bought this last year. So this was when I'd only completed maybe 1 quilt when I went. Maybe not even that. Maybe I was still on my first one. But anyway, I picked up the Dapper pattern and I did pick up the Jelly Roll. I hadn't actually touched this when I went to Festival of Quilts, but I did play with this on Sunday and start pairing up my blocks. I have my big strip fabric. I even have my backing for this, my backing fabric. When I came back from Festival of Quilts last year, I pulled all my stuff together and actually picked up backing fabrics so that I'd have them. So I have everything in here to finish this quilt. It's actually a very simple construction. So I did a load of these blocks on Sunday and then decided to mess a little bit with my new pattern. So if I'm in the mood for just sitting and sewing and not doing anything else, then I'm going to move on to this pattern, back to this pattern, and get my next stage of it sewn together. But if I feel like messing about, I've got another kit. So yeah, that's that one. This is a kit that I got last year. This isn't as good a kit, but I got this last year and my plan was to do this for Luna because I do have this backing fabric. So this is the back, but I do need to pull in some white. So I need to get a white for it because even that didn't come with the kit. And that's on my list to do, but I've not done yet. Then we have Catherine's quilt. So she wants the Pop Star quilt, doing the same one I did for my sister in these sunflowery colours. I did cut a few of the squares the other day, but I've not cut them all. I just thought, you know what, let's just cut a few, because then it's progress, because I know what pattern I'm doing with this one. But that's a digital pattern, so I haven't printed that out. So that's in there. And then this, this top one, I haven't started this either, but these were picked up from Utoxeter, the quilt show I went to on my birthday, and I actually plan on doing this quilt with it out of Seasons in Blue. So I'm thinking of doing all these little houses in these sorts of colours. I thought it might look really, really cute in those colours. I've not checked yet if I have enough fabric for doing the houses, or picked what I'm going to use as my background fabric, because it is all machine piecing. So all those sorts of decisions need to be made. And it may end up that it's not going to work and I ditch it. But because I have it as an idea and a fabric in mind, it's there. I do actually have another fabric set that may work with it, but yeah, so that's there. And then last but no means least, I have a honey bloom quilt kit that I've still got from last year that I'll get to do at some point. It was just in a neat box to sit up there. So yeah, this is my quilting project caddy now, and I'm going to use the boxes that I used to have to put some of the kids stuff in. Catherine's got dressmaking patterns everywhere. I'm going to put those in and basically kick their stuff to them, because I've pulled out all sorts out of this craft room that is the kids and not mine. And quite frankly, that needs to change. So my craft room is back to normal. I think I might take you along to clean up the table from me and Megan quilting, and a weekend worth of life. I might take you along for that and show you my fabric cupboard before we head into the shop and get some real work done. Okay. This is the half of the conservatory with the dining table, sewing machine, etc. It's looking a lot worse than it was, primarily because anything that needed to go somewhere else in the craft room, from the craft room, came out here. So part of that needs sorting as well, or things need going in various different places. So yeah, let's see if we can get this tidied up. So Megan got a parcel the other day, but I think I'm going to try and reuse this in some packaging, some ideas that I have, and I don't need to reuse that. So this needs to go in the shop, as does the Advent that I did the unboxing for. So that chair can be a shop space. I do have this out here. This is masks. Anybody who watches often, how long has it been since I finished these? And I still haven't photographed them. So the plan is, as soon as this table is clear, they are getting a photograph. This is two other patterns that I picked up. So I picked up Drop Zone, which is a bag that then opens up flat and clammed up. They're both by Annie.com. I picked up those two patterns. I do want to do those but they involve a little bit of thinking. So I did get the pattern out and had a look at it last night, but it was as everybody was coming home, which means it was far too chaotic in this house for anything like that. This is Catherine's current book nook. She doesn't like this book nook though. She picked this one up herself, Row Life it's called. There's a lot of painting that you need to do and fiddly little bits. So she's going to finish it, but she's not liking it. I've got my little thread catcher basket, which actually I'll empty while I've got this here. Catherine made me this, and it is a bowl, a pot with my first quilt on it, which I absolutely love. Let's show you where I now store my fabric. So let me just move the chair out the way a little bit. Hello, Luna. So I do have a couple of magazine files here. I've got a few quilting magazines that I need to read, but I did pick up a Stuart Hillard Make 100 Bags book as well. That is also signed. Because yeah, I'd love to be able to not only make quilts, but also make things that I can use. So bags and little bits to store my sewing stuff in is some of the next things I'd like to use. But this is where my fabric is now stored. Yes, I know you like a sniff. So I have got anything over a metre or over is across the bottom. There is a couple that I've taken out. Get your nose out, missus. There is a couple that I've taken out and put in my project boxes because I've got an idea for them. So there is a lot of neutrals because I'll often grab fat quarters and then they need whites with them, so there's a lot of those. Tucked down here are a couple of sort of different projects on the bottom shelf. They're more just stopping these falling down, and some 1.5 inch strips and 2.5 inch strips that I've cut from scraps. But then this is my gorgeous fat quarter bundles, and then this is more fat quarter bundles. These ones, I think there's some Disney ones that I need to find something to do with them. They've been gifted to me, but they've not got a big future plan for me, or I don't have one, sorry. If the tripod moves, it's Luna. But I did pick up, these are the ones I picked up from Higgs and Higgs. Not all of these are older ones, but I did pick up these fabrics, primarily the light checkers and stripes. I thought would be good as bag liners inside little pouches and things. So I do want to bookmark their details because they did have quite a few of those if I do want some more. The rest, oh no, I've got one other fat quarter bundle that I picked up at Festival of Quilts. The rest was already in my stash. I picked up this Christmas one from Bramble Patch. It was there on the bolt as well as the fat quarter, and I didn't like the look of a lot of the patterns on the bolt. But as a fat quarter bundle, I don't know whether it's just the way I see things, I could see this as a quilt. On the bolts I couldn't, but in the fat quarter bundle I could. So I thought this is a bit of a different type of Christmas quilts that I could potentially do. I don't have a pattern in mind yet, hence it's not in a project box. But yeah, I just really like the different colours from that one. I seem to have gone a bit more maybe muted with colours. I don't know. Anyway, yes, I picked up those. So they all go in there. This is the other selection that I may use for those houses. That was a collection I picked up in Australia. And they're all fat 8s, which is why they're sort of spread out so much. And then the last things that I think I picked up was some zips. So they were I picked up from Purple Stitches, some continuous zips in a few different colourways. Again, because I had a lot of potentially doing bags in mind. So they've got those, and then I picked up a beige one and a pink one. I did pick up a couple of extra zip pulls, though they do all come with one of my favourite type zip pull. Let me see if I can find one where it's easy to see, because I don't think I have one on its own. Oh, did I get one on its own? I did. Let me pull out the one on its own so I can show you. So they each come with one of these zip pulls, which is a sort of classic style. I did pick up a big flower. I thought that might be nice on one of those clam purses. And when I was at Uttoxeter, and I picked up a couple of zip pulls from a different company where they had the diamond. So yeah, I've got a few different options there for zips. But yeah, that's what I picked up. So these small tubs, I'm thinking I may move some of the stuff out of my cart into here to sit up here with my jelly rolls, my quilter card deck and things, and then this will be fabric, is my thought. Though I don't need to fill it just yet. It's nice to know I can potentially fit in some more if I need to. These tubs that I originally was getting from Home Bargains, which store a fat quarter bundle really quite well. That was one fat quarter bundle, and it sort of fits it really, really nicely. I've even squoze in a 16 fat quarter bundle into one, so they do bump up if you need them to. So they fit most fat quarter bundles in them. Home Bargains. Home Bargains, they weren't on the website, they weren't in the shop, couldn't find them anywhere. I ended up finding some. They were a little bit dearer at B&M. I think they were $2.50 instead of $1.99. The labels come off much easier, so it makes me tempted to get the rest from B&M just because the labels come off nicer. They're just stuck on. Oh, this is a B&M one. They're just stuck on with one glue dot, so the actual label comes off really easy and leaves the tub nice. Whereas the Home Bargains ones have got a sticky label that doesn't come off nicely. So yeah, I might get some more and basically switch it so that I've got full rows here, is my thought. But yeah, Home Bargains, I've actually got them back on the website now. So maybe they've, got more stock in. Maybe they just took it off while it was out of stock. I don't know. But yeah, that is where my fabric now lives. I don't have the handles on these. I don't find I need them. It stops them getting bashed on things. But yeah, that is I suppose all my crafty areas in the house tidied up. So we'll head into the shop in a bit. I do have quite a few bits I need to sort out there. What is it? It's 12:30. That's not bad. Admin's done. Printers have been set off going. And I've now got a tidy craft room space, a tidy living-ish room space. I just need to put the kids' stuff on the stairs. And I'm going to take the photo of this. Masks, that's it. I'm going to take the photo of masks, so join you back in a bit. Okay, we are in the shop. I have brought in the bits from the house, so that's good. The shop is fairly tidy. There are parts that aren't. I have started the diamond dust drills. So these are the spares. Basically, I am bagging up and using the full sticker sheet to start off with, putting them up on the wall and putting the rest in here. Once it's launched and I've done a refill, then I'll have a look. But I had to move it out the way to put my trimmer out for doing cover paper for orders yesterday and today. I also have my foundation paper piecing templates in here because I've been trimming those, which I actually need glasses off for this, which is why I don't wear my glasses that often unless I'm out driving. But yeah, I need to cut these up for using with my quilt. I did a batch of them yesterday, or did a few of them yesterday, so that I could carry on with the quilts. But really, I need to finish the rest off so that I can just get them in the house, because they don't belong in the shop. So yeah, it's more a matter of getting them done and getting them out of the way. So I think I'm just going to finish these off first, and then we'll get into the prep work. So at the moment I have done a little bit of advent prep. So I did some advent prep last week. Advent has now launched, so thank you all so much for your support. I've just realised the lighting, you're facing the window a bit too much. I think the lighting's a bit off. Hang on. Let me see if it will adjust a bit better if I move you that way. There we go. Because the camera's not picking up the light coming through the blinds, it's giving you a little bit of a better scope. Yeah, so I did some advent prep last week, and yeah, advent launch, so thank you all so much who's got their pre-orders in already. I am going to be flipping between the two. I am trying to take some videos of advent prep, but I'm conscious that advent prep will be after advent has of course been and done, which means it will be after Christmas, which means it's, while it's still going to be interesting for people to see the prep that goes into advent, it's not something that's worth me doing multiple videos on, because it, you know, you start getting into January, February, and if I'm still talking about Christmas, it's not as exciting. So what I thought I'd do for advent prep wise is take some clips of some things that I'm prepping sped up, so you guys can see some of the process that goes into it, and then I'll just do short snippets of all the advent things, and then maybe do a video on the packing. But my thought is this year, because Megan flies to Australia tomorrow, I don't have Megan here, and normally when Megan's off school for the summer holidays and she's here, that's normally when I'll normally have done all the advent prep well beforehand, or only have a few bits left, and we'll both do it. And we get a system set up to pack the advents, because packing them actually takes a long time. We used to feel really good and exhausted if we hit 30 packed in a day. Our normal daily packing rate was 20, and that's to get them into their brown bags, stickered in the boxes and done. So yeah, that's partly why Advent's launching or shipping out in October, is to make sure I've got plenty of time, but it's also because I do think that September was just a little bit too early. And a lot of it was because of space of the Advents made up, but I have created some space in the warehouse where I'm going to put the completed boxes. So my thought is, I want to get some Advent prep done. I want to prep for like 50 and pack 50, and then prep for another 50 and pack 50, and do that on quite a few repeats to meet all the orders, which will vary things up for me. And I work best when I feel like I'm getting somewhere with something. So actually having some packed and ready will make me feel better. And then I can start shipping. I know I can guarantee I can start shipping them in October. So yeah, I am going to plan to do that. Say I have done some of the Advent items prep, but then I did realise when I was prepping one of the longer time consuming items that this September launch, which I'm calling a September launch, though it is going to be at the end of August, is actually going to creep up on me if I'm not careful. So I paused on that. I'm going to prep for the August-September launch, or the end of the month launch. Say we're on the 5th now. So my hope is to prep that this upcoming week. I may flip and do an Advent item. I may not. I'm probably just going to continue prepping for September launch all the way through. And then as soon as that's done, then I can move on to Advent, knowing that I can do the September launch without any worries at all. Because I do have to sort out 48 different diamond dust drills. And so far, I have done 9. So I have quite a few to go. I then have 5 diamond paintings to prep. I don't think they will take that long. I think it's the diamond dust that's going to take me a while, which is why I've started on it, to give me a better sense of time. But yeah, today we are I'm going to get these cut so I can get them away. I'm going to get these things away on the desk. I actually have a lot of stuff in the hall in the house that's actually for Advent. I also have some packing supplies due today. I think both sets of packing supplies are due today, which will definitely need to come into the shop this evening. It's basically boxes and tissue paper, so it's not huge things. But they're huge in size, but they're not huge in the fact I know exactly where they need to go away. So yeah, when they turn up, we need to get those away as well. And yeah, let's see how far we get. Let's get on with cutting these up for a start, so that I can get these out of the way. Because I think I feel like I'm on a bit of a organising, sorting kind of day today. I do get those sort of, I went to cut this like cover paper then. I went to look at the measurements. Yeah, I feel like I'm on an organised, straighten up kind of day today. So I might actually concentrate on bringing all that stock in out of the house and getting that all unpackaged before I start packing any diamond dust. We'll see if I've still got the energy, because they are very big boxes. They're very heavy boxes. Oh, and I need to pack up some black card stuff as well. So maybe we'll do some of that. Anyway, let me get this cut up and we'll see where the day takes us. Yay, they're done. Right, we've got a slight change of plan because I went into the house after finishing cutting those templates, and all my boxes, tissue paper, etc. had arrived. So I have brought all of that in here, as well as the other deliveries that were in the hall. I think I'm going to embrace the sorting out day that I seem to be having, and get these unpacked and away. The boxes are fairly easy, to be fair. Sorry, the lighting's going again, the sun keeps shining. The boxes and the tissue paper are fairly easy. I do also have a box full of stickers. The cupboard I store the stickers in is behind the light box, so that might be entertaining. I also have a load of card and paper. They come wrapped in bubble wrap and then in a bag to keep them dry, but I like to reuse the bubble wrap for orders because I like to recycle where possible. We do have our own, but at the minute I actually have an abundance of this, so I'm gonna potter around, have a bit of a tidy up. I'll probably move you to different angles depending, and I'll get this stuff away as well. So I need to put Luna's dog biscuits back for a start and put this receipt away. Packing boxes and tissue paper is away. I always like to buy tissue paper in bulk. It works out cheaper, and I also order packing boxes in bulk as well, though my last bulk of big boxes did not last anywhere near as long as I wanted them to, primarily because I hate ordering them. Boxes don't, well, both suppliers, I only put these orders in yesterday afternoon, so they're both suppliers that are extremely quick. Tissue paper does work out cheaper when I buy it in bulk, so that's definitely worth doing because I have somewhere to store it. I just store it underneath our regular tissue paper. So that will last me a good while. Boxes wise, it's because lugging them through the house, like, they don't particularly cost any more. They don't get hugely cheaper the more you order, though they do get a little bit cheaper. So I did order more of the extra deep boxes than I normally do because they were so much cheaper when I ordered more. But the normal regular boxes, I'm just going through them quicker with us having diamond paintings. So I decided to just fill up in the hope that that'll last me a couple of months before I have to order again. I did also pick up some crinkle paper in white. This was before Megan got that delivery with it in brown in it. This is a plan for something I'm hoping to bring out in next month's launch. So I got a sort of sample-ish amount. I got 200 grams so that I can give that a go and see if it all works before I order it in a bigger amount. Though this may be enough, especially with the stuff that Megan's got. I don't need a lot of it. But yeah, boxes are away. They're always the easy one, I will say, because they have a home. Catherine's got my box cutter. She's currently using it for this book nook that she's putting together. And she's currently doing it at the moment, so I can't pinch it back. So I'm going to have to fight with scissors to get into this cardstock, etc. The only thing is, my cardstock, where it normally goes, is currently full. I had to order a couple of sets for something I'm planning on creating, and then to make up free postage and stuff, I ordered another 2 boxes of something we use quite a lot of, but I didn't really need it, so now I also need to find somewhere to put that. So yeah, and then I need to get rid of this card, because yeah, there's just too much stuff everywhere, and I need to pull out the light box to put the stickers away. So I think I'm going to get that done, and then we'll see where we're at. Oh, actually, I need to sort out this cover paper first. Not cover paper, bubble wrap. Too many words that are not making sense. I need to think before I speak. Okay, so I use Megan's cart. It's sort of like my postage cart. She may want it back in September, she may not. She doesn't yet know. But this, if I don't rip it all, is the bubble wrap that I got from my last paper order. For my last order of paper, this is the bubble wrap that I got. And I like to use this up. I cut it into sections, and one of those will fit nicely in a box. So I use 1, 2, 3, however many it is that I need, and these have all been pre-cut. And this is all bubble wrap that I've had off my last few orders that has not yet been cut down. So before I pull a load more off, I'm going to cut this down, I think, and fill up this cart. So I use a pack of Snickers as a measurement, because that's about the size of a box, and then trim that all the way down using the bubbles. And then it gets folded in half, roughly. And then each piece, if I cut it right, gets folded in half again. Fold over that with a tape, because that's what's causing the problem. And that gets folded in half again. In fact, that bit, I think I'm just going to tape it on. And that gives me 2 pieces that can go into a parcel if it needs it. I say, I do have a roll in the back, and there are times that I will have to cut off our roll, but I always try and recycle first. And it's mainly the paper delivery boxes that I use it on. It's the main thing I get delivered with bubble wrap. So I'm always using this up. So yeah, let me get cutting. Last one to get out of bubble wrap. I've lost my mic off my shirt about 3 times. Why, when I wasn't filming, did I keep putting it back on? I don't know. But I am on the last box of 4, thank goodness. And I'm just following the tape round. I used to, before I was like, what a waste of bubble wrap, I'd just slice through this and peel it off. But because I reuse it now, it is actually a lot better if I take my time and figure out where the tape is, and sort of basically just try and cut the bubble wrap free. But yeah, I have one more to do. I was able to shuffle some stuff around in the warehouse, just a few things that I was able to consolidate onto one shelf, which has given me another shelf to put 2 boxes of this. I can't put it all in there, it won't all fit, but I can get 2 more boxes in, which is good. I can get the 2 items that are stock things. So there's more black card, but there's already a box of that under my desk waiting for me to actually package it up, and then another A5 paper. So they can go, oh, they've gone on a shelf in the warehouse, and these that I'm using for a project are just gonna tuck away in the corner and float about until because I'll be using them soon-ish. Not extremely soon, but soon enough. So yeah, that's nearly done. Stickers wise, I'm still wondering whether I can be bothered moving the photo light box to get them in the cupboard. Primarily because I think the cupboard's nearly full. I don't think they're all going to fit in there, but we were nearly out of one size that we needed, so I had to order again anyway. So I ordered more of what we go through a lot of, and at least half the order will fit in the cupboard. I just don't know if it all will. So yeah, I guess we'll decide if I fancy fighting with that or not. Okay, I did it. Oh, where's my glasses? I got the rest of the boxes unpacked, so I got the stickers unpacked. I did move the photo box. I figured let's not do half a job. So yeah, I moved that. I got everything in there that I could and found somewhere else to stash the rest. I do have more packing from the stickers. So these, actually, there's perforations on these, and one is perfect when I need something bigger in a box. So I will be keeping hold of those as well. I find with cardboard, that can get recycled easy enough. I do keep hold of a couple of boxes that things come in that's sort of ideal for if I get an order that won't fit in one of our bigger boxes, which does happen on occasion when somebody goes on a splurge. So I do have a couple sort of stashed for that reason only, but more often than not our boxes work fine. I know they're the right sizes to get the cheapest rate for postage. But yeah, I find with this it's not as easy to be recycled, so if I can recycle it at least once, then it's getting more of a life. I don't think it's going to fit on the bottom of there though. I think I'm going to have to stash it in the warehouse with the bubble wrap off the other paper. But I am happy that's done. Even if I haven't got any more diamond dust drills done, I am happy that those boxes are sorted, because 5 of those boxes have been in the house since last week. 3 of them arrived today, but they were the bigger tissue paper and boxes. So they're now, everything is now away. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to do some cardstock, some black cardstock, because I don't have any prepared already. So I'm going to get that done because that's been floating around my feet. And yesterday I actually had quite a few Paint Gem bundles go out, quite a few orders with them. So I was dipping into the box to get cardstock. So I think that'll be best to get done. I do need to do white cardstock as well, but at the moment I still have 2 sets, so it's not as urgent. But yeah, we'll get the black done and then we'll see what sort of time frame we're at. Okay, 25 minutes. That wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, though that was only about 3/4 of a box. But you can see why I didn't want to following last week's vlog, I didn't want to do a vlog on a day when I was just doing cardstock. Because that's boring for both me and for you, and you got it sped up. So you've got the better end of the deal already. So I've just been having a think. I was doing great time-wise this morning, getting the craft room and that sorted. Sorry, Luna's just nosing the door to say, "Oi, I want it to be able to come in." Yeah, so I thought I was doing great time. Then I realised how hungry I was and ate. Then I lugged all the boxes into the shop and then had some brownie that Catherine made and a coffee before then coming in and unpacking the box. And the unpacking of all the boxes and everything else just took me so much longer. So it is already now 25 to 5. I'm going to pop this cardstock away. I am going to do one last thing before I call it a day. But Catherine has just come in with an update from the book nook that you will have seen this morning. She has sat and finished it. I did ask her to return my table to the way it was so that I don't walk in and it's a mess. She said she was going to bring it out to show me and then something came off. And then she went to fix that back on and something else came off. But for anybody that enjoys book nooks, she did say that brand, the instructions are really hard to follow. It is nowhere near as sturdy as the Cute Bee ones that she's done. And yeah, overall she just doesn't like it. So after bits getting knocked off and her re-gluing them, and it's currently sat there drying and don't touch it, she ordered another one off Cute Bee to cheer herself up. So yeah, if you like book nooks, that's a recommendation from another book nook lover. I haven't made any myself. Catherine has. So anybody who likes book nooks, take note of that. So yeah, last thing I want to do, let me grab the bits and I'll chat while I do it because it's not going to take me too long at all. Right, the last thing I want to do for today is refill the bookcase paintings. I did refill these before the Advent launch, Advent pre-order launch. A lot of people, and of course that's when we opened EU shipping as well. So a lot of people, or quite a few orders went out at the same time, and it included a lot of these. So I do want to refill them. One, because it makes my life easier, but also because I actually want to update the stock on the website. We got a huge amount of these in, of all the paintings in. Actually more than we were planning on ordering. But we ended up getting more in. And of course this one is the one that's gone absolutely crazy busy. But I've also redesigned the stickers, or should I say, Megan redesigned the stickers that are going on the diamond paintings. So I want to use the last of this sheet up so I can start using the new stuff. So yeah, let's see how many we can get on the shelf to fill that up, see whether we get to the point of being done or not. I do need to keep hold of one. I like to keep hold of one of each painting that we do. Don't ask me why I've done one of these, or no, sorry, I have this on my to-do pile in my craft room as one I want to do for myself, but then I like to keep hold of a single one on its own. They're stored up above the printers, but I have one of each of last year's Advent painting, one each of the years before, one each of the year before that, the Advent calendar that we did, and a Zesty Wolf, all not completed, but I have one of each up there, and I want to do the same with these mini paintings. It's just like our reference, I suppose. I don't quite know. I just like, every now and then I look up there and it just makes me smile for the diamond paintings that we've had done. So yeah, I want to update the stock on the website so that I know it is fully correct for this one, because I'm not saying we'd never reorder. It may be something that we reorder in the future, but for the amount we need to get the fair price is okay when it's a new design and nobody's seen it before. But if we sell out, it's not necessarily as practical to buy that exact same amount all over again. That's when it hits tricky territory. So yeah, the order quantities just aren't in our favour. But I did fill them up the other day. I managed to get both the bookcase diamond painting and the rose diamond painting down into these smaller boxes, which is good for my shelf space, because I need it for Advent. I need it all for Advent things. So I think we'll get to use up these stickers filling up this shelf now, and then I'll do a quick stock count and update the website with the correct amount. When we did our Advent shipping, because we have the pre-order offer at the moment, if you don't know, if you want to order our Advent calendar up until the 28th of this month, so the 28th of August, we have our pre-order offer, which is free standard shipping worldwide for our Advent calendar that will ship in October. And yeah, I need the space for Advents to go and Advent prep things to go. That needs to go that way. Right, I've got 2 more stickers. Can I fit 2 more on the shelf? Let's try. Sorry, yeah, what was I saying? Shipping. So when we put shipping on the website, the way we did it last year was we set the weight of the advent calendar as 0 and had, because our shipping's done on weight so that it doesn't cost you more than it should, we did free shipping by setting our advent calendar weight to 0 and offering between 0 and 1 grams free shipping, which basically only covered the advent because everything else weighs more than 1 gram. This year, our website provider at some point throughout the year has decided that the lowest shipping weight can be no more than like 10 grams. Well, for our paint gem stickers or cover paper sheets, things that are only a few grams each, that doesn't work for us to do that shipping way. So what we've had to do is we've had to create a shipping, 2 different shipping sort of options. So everything else on the website has been set as default shipping, and Advent has been set at free shipping. And it's actually really good. It was a pain to set up. Megan had to do it, so not as bad for me. It was a pain to set up, but what it means is that if you put the Advent in your cart and put other items in your cart as well, it will show you that you can choose free shipping for the Advent, and it will show you the cost of shipping for the other items in your cart, which means it's clear as day that you're paying shipping for some things, but you are getting your Advent for free, or free standard shipping. There is an option to pay a little bit to have it tracked. But what it means on the back end, which is even better, is if you do have items in your cart with your Advent, it will put them through our system as 2 orders because it's 2 different types of shipping, which means that anybody placing an order for Advent and other things is able to get their other things straight away, and then the Advent waits, which I find absolutely fantastic. So it's so much easier for me. I mean, packing non-Advent items at the same time is okay, but it's not the easiest. Some packages can be a little bit weird, and it can slow things down when it comes to shipping Advent. Whereas if there's only Advent in it, I can just bag them all up and then just label them, and anyway, small things. So I'm going to call it there for today. Actually, I need to leave that lid off. I'm going to count the stock of the bookcase paintings and update the stock on the website. So when you're watching this, whatever the website says we've got, it will alert you if it gets lower than 5, I think. So we have more than 5 at the moment, but it's not going to be much more than that. Yeah, like it might be around 15 in total, maybe 1 or 2 either side, but I'm going to do final count now. What I'm also thinking I'll do is we will do some prep of diamond dust drills and things, and also the diamond paintings for the end of the month launch. They are things I am going to vlog. What my plan is, I think for this week, if things go well, is I'm going to film my whip and waffle for Friday tomorrow so that members can have it early. So I'm going to film the whip and waffle, try and film a longer one so that you guys get a bit more while my videos have cut down a little bit. I'm going to try and film an unboxing as well, so I've got like 3 videos going up at some point next week. And then I think on Thursday, because that's when I'll be doing another sort of full day of prep, is I will vlog. It won't go up for a week or so, but I will vlog it so that you guys get the prep for September launch. You may even get 2 videos on prep for September launch, because I've got quite a few things to do for it. You may get 2 videos on it, and then, yeah, so they may be filmed quite short time frames together. You may see them spaced out, but rest assured, if I've got one of those up, it's because the rest of my time is spent prepping Advent. But I am filming snippets of it, so you will get to see that in January. But yeah, I'm going to call that it for today, and I'm going to go and do some quilting. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll speak to you all again soon.